Good frosty morning from North Carolina. We're here in the freezing shop. We're trying to use our big body to give us some resemblance of comfort. And North Carolina was supposed to be warm, right?
Yeah, that's why we moved here, right?
Right, so it is exactly freezing in the shop right now. It's 32 degrees.
Well, we've raised a couple then.
We did?
Yeah,
Well, in the shop probably was not below freezing.
it was. You said so.
So here we are for your pleasure, working hard.
This is dedication,
It
folks.
is dedication. We haven't missed a post in how many years now, and we're not about to miss one. If today is the first time you're visiting with us, we want to express to you a very warm welcome. We hope you had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you. And we invite you to watch any of our over 540 videos, arranged for your convenience in playlist, as we are confident you're going to find something both useful and entertaining to watch. If you've been here before, welcome back. In fact, even if you have been here before, welcome back. If today is your birthday, we want to wish you a very happy birthday. And this is our last build for 2020. Our next build will be on the first weekend of 2021. We're not skipping anything, by the way, that's how the year goes, right? The next weekend is the first weekend of the next year. And today we're going to close the year with a build for our beloved pets. We had built something similar before, and I can put it here. It's a different style than the one we're going to build today. And what it is a raised bowl holder. Is that what we're going to call it?
Dog, a pet
Well,
bowl.
yeah, not for us,
Pet bowl.
for the pets.
Feeder holder, water holder.
And we're going to try to have some elements of it very simple. We don't know if we're going to complicate it as we go along, but the build itself will be fairly simple, that anyone can actually do. So stick around and we're going to show you how to do it. So today we built this pet feeder, raised pet feeder for our pups. And what is fun about this project is definitely a weekend project. You can finish it in one weekend. It is an inexpensive project. We used a construction grade 2x3x6, I believe, or by 8, I don't know.
Yeah.
And all we did to this board is to resew it to this dimension. As you can see, it's the same type of board, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then all those pieces are the resewn pieces, right?
Yeah.
And this is what we've left. So we didn't have a lot of waste, did we?
No.
It is amazing. I mean, you can see here on the finish how construction lumber can have amazing character, right?
Yeah.
We think. So
It's really beautiful.
stick around, watch our episode today, and you're going to find out how to build on your own a beautiful piece like this. So raiding our scrap bin again, we found a piece that the dimensions will work for what we need. So we need to rip other pieces the same dimension, and we use the first piece as our story stick, as we discussed before, to set everything, right? So we don't have to measure, we don't need to make everything parallel, because that does everything. So we're going to remove it, and this is actually a ripped piece from a 2x3, right?
Yep.
So we have a few more scraps of 2x3s, and we are going to bring them here on the table now and start ripping them. Stick around for this very exciting event. So we're going to rip another couple of pieces like that off camera, and we're going to get right back with you. So we're doing a very preliminary dry fit because we want to avoid measuring, right? So we are going to, you want to take the pencil and mark that piece? We are going to decide the dimensions of our exterior piece. So make a little mark there, and we're going to go and cut it.
These have to be straight.
All right, so we're going to move on now and continue the cutting process. So our original piece has a little bit of fuzz because we cut it back when our blade was really horrible, right? And you see the difference in a bad
one
blade.
reason, yeah, for sure.
So we're just knocking the fuzz off. This is not the final sanding, I'm sure. So we're going to do that exciting part. And you can see the difference, by the way. Look at this cut. And let's go to the part that we have not cleaned yet. To see the difference of a blade quality, right? See how sharp that is? In comparison?
Yep.
All right. Let's keep knocking.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
All right. We are going to go with a doweling joint because we kind of like those type of joints. And here we just made a test hole, which is a good thing because it's too small.
I thought it might be slightly. So testing the hole size before you drill your holes is always
But
important.
this looks so big.
It is big.
That's what she said. That looks humongous. I don't think I'm going to go to another set to find the right size.
And maybe it is too big. We'll see. Whoa!
I just wanted to attach it. I didn't care. So we ran into a little unexpected problem. I don't think we've run out before, but it looks like this, even though it is a half
Half-inch dowel.
diameter, it's just too loose. And if you make a joint, you don't want it as loose. And we measured it with our electronic calipers, and it came up to be 0.44.
Yeah.
Now this is one of our smaller ones, but it fits, as you see, nicely. So we're going to change size from a half to 1/4, and that's the only change we're making at this moment.
Okay.
So we made the first hole alignment, and we're going to insert the first dowel.
I think that's it.
All right, we need a.
Yep.
Since we changed from one bigger dowel to two smaller, we're going to use two dowels instead of one per joint. Here, of course, you can use screws if you want, right? You don't have to use dowels if you don't want to. But we're going with dowels, right?
Right.
Right? Can I cut this one? Let's do the other hole.
Yeah, you might have some difficulty
Why?
unless we cut this first.
Oh. Here, right? Where you want?
Yeah, but you have to be, like, level. Let me place it.
Well, if it is tilting towards that way, actually, is a good thing because we make the joint stronger. And you see the sap here, which is why it was so hard to drill in there, right? Because the sap was there. All right, now we can remove this one, the outside, this one. And we're going to use our beloved okay, so let's put the other one now. Folks, when it is this cold, everything is 3 times difficult. More difficult, I guess I should say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we will show you, of course, but we will net, and that might be a little angle, remember, so don't try to be straight. Let the dowel go to the hole we have created for it. You ready for me to knock it?
I was trying to twist it as you taught me.
Right, but this is tighter. Put your hand there to know that it's going up. Only when it stops.
I think it might have stopped.
Okay. Alright, you want to clean it? Of course, this will need some sanding, but you know. And of course, we need to cut that as well.
I just want to remove extra glue.
Alright.
You want me to remove this one?
Well, we have to, you can remove it to be more
Come at
flat.
it from this side.
Well, we're not flat though, so I guess we need to remove it and get more close to it. What are you doing there? Don't.
That didn't. It didn't even.
So here we want to talk to you about something that we found ourselves the hard way. We had to do that twice. As you can see, we did a little damage on the wood there, but we'll fix that. And the reason we had to do it twice is because we used the glue we haven't used before, and we didn't pay attention that it is a quick and thick glue. It is a tight bond, but it is so quick that actually grabbed and glued the dowel in the first piece. And even using our hammer would not allow the dowel to go through. So we had to re-drill them and put new dowels on to correct for this issue, right?
And using just our regular old.
Right.
There we go.
So we're going to do the rest of the pieces and see if we actually solve the problem or not. So we have finished one of the edges and we're finishing the second one. We clamp it this way so we have pressure to go when we drill. I can push this way, right? Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. And we want it tight, as tight as we can have it with clamps. We're not going to show you the drilling process. It's the same exactly as we did before. The same exactly? What's wrong with me? It is the same process as we did before, but we're going to finish that. Then we need to make a second identical piece. Right?
Right.
Alright, so we're going to get into that and we'll be right back with you. So we added a middle piece. This will be our top and we're going to have 2 balls here. And we're connecting the piece to the main run using dowels again. So we're using consistently the same method of connecting the pieces as we've done throughout the project.
Mm-hmm. And we cut this piece to measure. It's the only piece of wood in the entire project that is this dimension. So we had to, cut a piece that fit specifically this size. And then we also glued it before putting the dowels in, which we really couldn't do as effectively with the other joints.
Right. And here is a dry fit. The piece now is upside down. And we have cut the legs. And we're going to attach them with glue and dowels like we did before. So we're going to do that and we'll be right back. So this is at the bottom of the piece and we decided to use screws to attach it. There is virtually no need for a lot of strength here, right? All the weight will be coming from the top. So the screws are just helping the alignment of the piece. And now we're going to carefully turn it over and decide on the join on the top. All right, let's do that.
Okay, so what we're showing here is what the dowel holes look like beforehand and how rough they are, and then we're going to sand them down and show how they can be flush. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, we have finished both the assembly and the sanding of the piece, and we are going to move into the finishing area. Here our ball is seated, and we have designed it for two balls of the same size. Technically, I guess you could devise it for different size balls, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be the same size. Now, what you're going to finish it? This will be exposed to some water, for sure. So you can stain it or paint it, and then I would recommend putting a poly over it, right? We're going to use the Asian Christmas method of the Japanese, Shou Sugi Ban, and we're going to burn this piece, right? Mm-hmm. And burning it not only makes it attractive, it gives it a great finish, but also protects it from water damage. Yeah. In fact, the Japanese used it as exterior. That's how they protected the exterior of their houses from the weather, is by the burning techniques. So we're going to get ready for the burning technique, and we're going to be right back. All right, so we have a little bit of an adjustment to make, and we're using what I think is a really brilliant idea, which is some drum sanding on a spindle, and you can use any of your power drills as long as it's not a quick connect. This is not a quick connect kind of extension. And then you can remove a little bit of material, but faster than just sanding, and make an indentation, right? Okay. So, and let's show them the difference between the two.
So that one's seated,
Right.
And this one's
You can see
gas.
probably if you go on the side there, you can see the difference, right?
Yeah.
There.
And show me on this one again. And now it's seating down. Yep.
Okay, so that is a quick and dirty way to make everything work.
Yep.
All right, now we're going to be ready to go to finishing. So we're making a homemade wood patty, and we're mixing Titebond glue with a little bit of sawdust. We like to keep our sawdust. And we want this to be the consistency of mayonnaise.
The consistency of what?
Mayonnaise. Mayonnaise? Mayonnaise?
Mayonnaise?
Mayonnaise.
Oh, okay.
What do you think? I think it's good, but it's up to you. I think that's good. Okay? So where is an opening we want to close? That one? Okay. And you have to use the best tool available to you, which is your finger. Okay? Now, ideally, and we don't have the time to do that for the project, you're going to let that dry.
In this corner too. I know
We
you
will try to do one.
No, what I'm saying is you have some that from when you were spreading it into the seam
Oh, okay.
that needs to come off.
Okay. Where?
Right there, right there. Yeah.
Now, if you use a paintable, this is unfortunately Titebond 2 what I'm using, but if you use Titebond that is paintable and stainable, it will be paintable or stainable, clearly, right? This, however, is not. We're going to make an experiment here and see if it will work okay with Shou Sugi Ban. But you can see already how much nicer it looks like, right?
More continuity.
More better.
Wood filler. Homemade wood filler.
Yeah, it's homemade wood filler, and if there is something we have a lot of is sawdust. You see?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, look. Cool. And our experiment before.
Okay.
So this now is perfect.
Okay.
All right. So we are ready to start our finishing, and the first order of business, of course, is to light our flame. Where do you want it? There. And we're going to give it to our expert Japanese finish in-house. How many adjectives I can find? You want me to hold it for you? So you're upside down versus, Right side up instead of sideways. Okay. So we're going to burn the whole piece, and once we're finished with that, we're going to come back to show you the finished product. Alright, and here we'll continue, and as you can see, the piece is slowly transformed. One of the big advantages of this technique is that once you're done, you're finished. You don't have to wait for it to dry, you know. You can put an oil on it if you want, but you don't have to wait. The finish.
And it's almost like a magical process. When the heat gets on the grain, it just jumps out at you.
Now probably that's not the easiest piece to do this finish, is it? Because it has a
lot of surfaces, yeah.
Too bad this was not the right piece to use. The Elpida's super duper flamethrower.
Right.
It would have annihilated this piece.
Annihilated?
Annihilated, yeah.
But it is really beautiful how it makes the grain just pop out in a completely different way than staining.
You know what's really neat? It is not burning the dowels for some reason. The dowels look like two buttons, you see?
Mm-hmm. Don't stick your finger over there.
I didn't expect that. It doesn't look bad at all, but it is
I think that's kind of cool. It gives it another little interesting textural element to it.
We get a dimension we didn't expect.
Woo! It's like hot lava.
So the key is to burn the wood beautiful but not burn it completely, right?
Right. I don't want charcoal briquettes, but I mean, there's lots of different layers to the markings, and the more you apply the heat, the flame, the more layers you uncover, up to a point, right?
Right. Well, and we did that other project this past summer where we did that shelf for my kitchen, where I actually charred it a lot. But then when you brush it down, you get this kind of velvet-looking grain underneath, and so it was just really, really beautiful.
And as always, safety is of utmost importance, so we're using gloves that are meant for welding protection.
And here we are with the completed piece, and it came out really nice, we think, right?
Yes.
And the next step, and I don't know, Elpida is more of an expert, if it is mandatory or not, is to actually use a soft brush and run the piece, and it just gets rid of the
Ash.
of the ash, as we have shown you before. I don't know if it is visible on the camera that you see it coming out or not. But anyway, and we're going to also put some boiled linseed oil as part of the finish of this piece, and then it will be done.
Yep.
You want to use the vacuum or not? So here is our piece. We have finished the Shou Sugi Ban process, and we also use a soft brush, and we brush the remnants of the burning. And now we're going to use a soap towel and some boiled seed oil, linseed oil. And we're going to finish the piece now. Technically it doesn't need it, but it's going to make it look better. That doesn't make any sense. In other words, the piece is already by itself waterproof. It doesn't need much more.
It's going to add a little luster and color.
Yeah, it makes it look so much better, doesn't it?
Right?
And it almost gives it a little more definition, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, the grain is just really popping out. It's almost a honey.
Have some oil.
Yeah.
It's pretty full.
Well, it does soak into the
Yeah.
rag here.
And it will soak into the wood as well because it's very dry at this point.
Especially after burning it.
It's thirsty.
So yeah, now we see the pieces really starting to pop with all the wood grain, the way the oil is making that come out.
And also the oil will protect the piece from water, both stains and water damaging the wood as the animals drink from it.
Yeah.
And you will need to do that every year or so to keep it in the same shape. If you don't oil it, again, this will not get damaged because it is burned, but if you do any other finish, you will need to do it yearly.
Right, but for this one, it's just that everything dries out.
Right.
And depending on how dry your particular home or area is, you may have to do it maybe every 6 months versus every year. But you'll know because you'll be able to see the wood and you'll see how dry it looks. But this just makes it pop and you can see that grain. And even though it's a utilitarian pet bowl holder, it actually, becomes kind of a showpiece in your house.
Made with construction lumber, nevertheless.
Something more than just, your basic raised feeder.
And definitely one of a kind.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, friends, this is our episode for today, and this is our finished product. We put one of the two bowls because the other bowl is used by the pups to drink water right now. But ultimately, we're going to have two bowls on it, and we are very pleased with the outcome. What do you think, Mrs. Wizard?
Yes, very pleased.
And we hope you did enjoy this episode. Again, we did this using just construction grade lumber. It's not expensive to do, and you can do it in a few hours in an afternoon if you're not taping or recording. I guess we're not taping anymore. But this is our project for today. Please let us know if you like it, and we would like to see you making one and send us a picture. And if you do, please give us a thumbs up. If you didn't, the other button works as well. Share, like, subscribe. Let us know what else you would like to see in our channel. Stay safe, wash your hands, put your mask on, and have a happy holiday, remaining holiday. Happy New Year. Farewell, friends.